Hello, this is Gloria on Homestead Thursdays. I just want to say shalom. I'm so glad to be back with you all. I want to tell you all thank you to everyone who tuned in last week, who liked the video, who left comments, who watched my first episode. I was so excited. And so today I'm going to go ahead and share with you some things that I've been doing in the kitchen. Let's go ahead and let's get right to it. All right. The first thing I want to show you is my sourdough cinnamon rolls that I made with my sourdough discard on Monday. Now they have been sitting in the fridge, okay, so they've been cold and it makes the look of it a little different, but they are good. The flavor is excellent. I did say in my report that it was a little dry, so the next time I will take them out just a few minutes sooner, or maybe even use more plant-based butter. Alright, so next week I should have a new recipe with my sourdough discard on Monday. Next, I want to go ahead and report back with the pecan meat. After I did that video, my husband, he told me I should have stirred it up a little bit so that you could see just how meaty it looks. And since we've got some left, I figured I will report back on just the way that it looks, just so that you can see how meaty it really does look. And again, this is the pecan meat made by Tabitha Brown. The ingredients include pecans with several different seasonings, red onion, red pepper, and mushrooms. And the pecan gives it just a bit of sweetness. It's really good. If you haven't tried it, it's worth giving it a try. All right, let me go ahead and move on to what's next. Last week, I told you all that when I was going to freeze the sloppy joes, that I was going to freeze them in baggies and I was going to lay it straight so that I could save space. And that's exactly what I did. So let me go ahead and show you just how one looks. It's very thin. And let me show you. There are about 5 of them in my little stack. And you can see it takes up just about as much space as this one little container. All right. So you might want to try that when you have to freeze things. I learned a while back that if you freeze it in a flat layer like that, it will take up less space and it also will thaw out more quickly. Let me go ahead and move on to what I made this week. This week, I made homemade hamburger helper. All right, and all it involved was making my own cheese. I did a little different than I do my queso, but it's very good. And then I did a veggie grind with a little seasoning. And I just did some pasta, mixed it all together, added a little salt, a little of my Parmesan mix. Wonderful. So wonderful. In fact, that my husband told me he wanted to take some to work this week. That was not the plan, but it's how it happened, I suppose. All right, so I've got the label on there. Open it up. And I did the same thing that I did last week by putting a piece of sourdough bread on top. I sent it with some garlic spread. And right underneath the parchment paper, you can see the pasta with some parsley on top. All right, that's another thing that I use a lot of is parchment paper. It's excellent to divide foods. If you're freezing things, sometimes you might wrap it in parchment paper because you can microwave it easily. Also, I use it a lot with my baking for an easy cleanup on my cookie sheet, or when I'm making cakes or pies, or even in casseroles. I recommend parchment paper. All right, let me go ahead and move that to the side. I also sent with my husband some salad mix and some vegetables so that he could have salads this week. All right, and I'm going to go ahead and show you this vegan ranch dressing. Show you how thick it is, how smooth the consistency is. This is about my 3rd time making vegan ranch dressing. This recipe is very simple, just about 5 minutes. It's the 2nd time I've made it. Tastes wonderful. You can buy vegan ranch dressing, but it can get expensive. So You can make it right at home. And it lasts just as long as your vegan mayo lasts. All right, let me move on. I want to report to you all back about the cilantro. Last week I shared with you all how I had seen that hack on Facebook where to save your cilantro, you put it in a mason jar with some water. And this is mine's after about a week. You can see it still looks wonderful. It still has its color. The water keeps it hydrated. So I will continue to do this. I'll probably have to switch out the water after a while, but this is an excellent saver. And you might not only want to do it with cilantro, but any other herb that you use. I believe you can do it for parsley, maybe even chives and green onion, just so that you won't waste your fresh herbs and things. All right, let me go ahead and move on. I want to show you something that I learned when I was making some vegan biscuits. Sometimes your recipe will call for buttermilk, but as a vegan, you really don't have buttermilk. So this is how you make it. Take a cup of unsweetened almond milk or whatever plant-based butter that you use. It can be vanilla or it can be plain. And then you mix it with 1 tablespoon of lemon juice. It can be bottled lemon juice like mine or fresh squeezed lemon juice. Either one will work. Mix it together, and after a few minutes, it will curdle. So that's something for you to try if you're a vegan. Maybe if you cannot have dairy, or just if you want to try something different. All right, let me move that out of the way. And lastly, I'm going to be showing you all some low-carb options for pasta. When I made my homemade hamburger helper, I used Banza. These were the elbows. All right, they also have the shells. They have rotini. I've used some penne, Penne, with the pasta that I made before. My husband said that it was fine as well. I hope to try this very soon. This is their plant-based macaroni and cheese. Just to let you know, I got all of these from Kroger. Here's another one that I'll try at some point. Just green pea fusilli pasta. I believe that's how it's pronounced, by True Roots. True Roots also has this just red lentil, maybe sedini or sedini pasta. Have to look up how to pronounce that. That's also low carb. I have tried this Berea red lentil spaghetti pasta, and this one I got from Meyer. This is palmini, linguine, low carb. They also have it in a can. They also have lasagna noodles. I know that some people are a little concerned about how the palm is harvested, but palmini, they say that they harvest it sustainably. I don't have it, but my favorite substitute is a lower carb version of spaghetti, is spaghetti squash. All right, and there's another one. I cannot recall the name of it. It almost reminds me of like a white or a translucent noodle. You can find it at Walmart that's made out of maybe mushrooms. I'll see if I can find the picture and post it. So those are some low carb options. I believe that every now and again I'll try to show you all some lower carb options for some things you might like to eat if you're trying to have less carbs in your meals. All right. And that is Homestead Thursdays with Gloria today. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you like what you saw, go ahead and hit like. I will try my best to remember to make this public if you would like to share it. Feel free to leave comments, to ask questions. I'll see if I know the answer and report back. And if not, I'll try to do some research and report back as well. If there's anything that you would like to see me showcase or make, you can leave that in the comments as well, and I'll try and see if I can do that. All right, thank you. You have a good day, and I hope to see you next week. Shalom.